No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. It is Monday. That means Mike Prater is here. And Mike, I almost called in sick this morning after that game last night.
That would be the first thing that would come out of your mouth today. I didn't hate that result, but I know that was a big one for you. And it's time. It's time. The hockey season is over for you now. Now you can focus on baseball and with the Boise. What is it? The St. Louis Winter Hawks, the Bay Hawks, the Summer Hawks.
I actually had that sweatshirt on this morning and took it off. I almost said I can now be all in on the St. Louis Battlehawks here for the UFL. I literally had that sweatshirt on 5 minutes ago and took it off. But
that's
funny.
I
have the hat here, so I got the Battlehawks hat. I guess I can now try to root them onto a championship. But
there you go.
Man, that was gut wrenching. Up 2 with 2 minutes to go, but. That's sports.
The 2-goal lead in hockey is the worst lead in all of sports, man, and it comes back to bite you every single time. And we've all seen that happen. It's happened to our teams before. And 2-goal lead in hockey is very, very scary. And I had a feeling last night that might not work out like that. So I'm a little bit of a Winnipeg fan. I don't dislike the Blues, but it's an emotional time for NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup, and it's a good time. And your Blues put up a good fight, man. What a great finish to the season, despite what happened last night.
I kept trying to tell myself, that was the President's Cup, trophy winning team against a team that literally had the worst record of any team in the playoffs or whatever. But double overtime, game 7, that's just brutal as a sports fan. I pace a lot, Mike Prater, when I watch games. I don't sit when I'm into it, and had a TV on the back porch, and I was literally like in the middle of my yard, just standing there like 40 feet away watching the double overtime and couldn't move. And when the goal went in, I just stood there in the middle of my yard. My neighbors probably thought I was some weirdo for half an hour. I was just really ticked off, but it is what it is. That's sports. You move on. And yeah, we'll not as much fun watching the rest of the playoffs though once your team's out. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, but now you can adopt the Golden Knights. Come on now. I know you love the Golden Knights.
I always do enjoy watching the Golden Knights, seeing our man Derek Stevens sitting ringside there. I sat in those seats earlier this season. I will say this: your boy Leon Rice went when they were in Vegas for the Crown. They went to the Knights versus Jets. They went to the Winnipeg Jets game and saw the Jets win 4-0, I believe. Yep. So Leon's been poking the needle a little bit this series. He's now some huge Winnipeg Jets fan. So he said with his trained hockey eye, he thought they were the best team in the league or something. And so he's enjoyed kind of rubbing it in a little bit this series, but it happens. It's hockey, you move on. But I kind of felt bad for my kids because they were just starting to get into it and watch that game. And one more round would have probably really helped my younger son get really bought into hockey and stuff. But it is what it is. Move on. So what do you want to talk about today, Mike?
We could kill 30 minutes about hockey, but that's probably not going to happen. Boise State doesn't have a hockey team. I know the women's and men's tennis team had some mixed results at the NCAA tournament. Beach volleyball had its first NCAA tournament. We could dive into the spring NCAA tournament sports, but that's probably not going to cut it here. It's always football season around here. We mentioned Leon Rice. That kind of counts as a Boise State topic. So I know it's a slow season. We're kind of in the middle. You're firing up some summer long series. We're doing the same over at Idaho Sports Talk. It's that time of season. So I just got back from a little 4-day vacation. I went 4 days without touching my phone, and that was a pretty cool accomplishment for me. I tried to see if I could do it, and I pulled that sucker off. I ditched that thing Thursday morning and picked it up this morning, and I've never done that before. 4 straight days without ever using a phone. Didn't use it once. And that was kind of a cool moment. I suggest everybody tries to do that, although it's not always easy. But when you're on vacation in the middle of nowhere, it makes it a little bit easier. So refreshed, recharged, and ready to get back after it, my friend.
So was I your first phone call in 4 days today when you talked to me?
I got 3 text messages from Johnny. Johnny's always going to be Johnny on the spot, and got some text messages from him. Answered him this morning right off the bat. Yeah, technically you were the first phone call. I was driving into work this morning about 10 minutes late, and jumped on the show a couple minutes late, scrambling, got in last night. So, it's you were my first phone call. I got about 25 other people to call back, but we'll get to that in due time. There's plenty of time to do that this week.
I'm honored you picked up the phone when I called, Mike. But yes.
I had a feeling we were going to have some kind of show conversation about what are we talking about today?
What do you want to talk about today? Because in full transparency, this is kind of a unique week here. I know you don't really have the NFL draft stuff to talk about anymore. There's really nothing going on yet. We are going to do some summer kind of series for the football team and the basketball team, actually kind of examining players on the roster and looking at their importance going into next season. We'll do our 25 most important players. Nathan Carroll and I are working behind the scenes, putting that list together. We're working on, kind of 20 or 25 kind of questions or storylines going into football season. We'll have 10 or 15 for basketball season as well that we'll get to. And so we have plenty of summer content coming, but none of that's really going to start until next week. So if you've ever wanted to ask Mike Prater a question, he has said today he will answer literally anything. So if you have a question for Mike Prater, you can get that in today. We'll take your questions in the chat. We'll have some fun this week and kind of just bounce around a variety of topics and then really lock back in with some hardcore stuff, I think, next week, Mike, as we get some of these series and things rolling. I do want to throw out that ticket sales are going well, Mike, for the BNN golf tournament. The golf tournament itself is pretty much sold out. But the happy hour event the night before, we're really blowing that up this year. It's going to be bigger and better. We've moved it to Western Collective Brewery there in Garden City. They've got an awesome beer garden outside there that we're going to have the stage set up, and we're going to have a big Q&A. We've got Leon Rice confirmed for that, and we've got Dirk Cutter confirmed to be part of the Q&A. So maybe we can get I know Jay Tuss was going to help moderate this, but maybe we can get Mike Prater up there to moderate the Dirk Cutter portion of the Q&A.
Yeah, I would love to. I got 5 or 6 questions I could definitely fire up at Dirk Cutter, put him on the spot, make him answer these questions in front of a public situation. So I remember going to that last year, and it was the first time you've done that last year, and it was a great start. And it was a really cool event with a couple hundred people, and there's potential for something like that, and it's really cool. Last year it was Spencer and Leon up on stage and taking the Q&A. You were moderating it, and it was a pretty good time. Some boosters hanging out. I got to meet the Atkinson family last year at that event, and that was a pretty cool moment for me because those boys are they got it going on when it comes to business and Boise State sports. So I thought it was a cool event. Looking forward to it this year. Yeah, I'll be the loyal soldier. I'll do whatever you need, just as long as I can play a little golf on Friday, BJ.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. And as I said, the tournament itself is mostly sold out. We are still hopeful that Spencer Danielson can come. It is a weekend for official visits, and it's just too far away for him to lock in his schedule. But Dirk Cutter is kind of our backup on the football side, but which is not much of a backup at all. Dirk Cutter, it's going to be great to hear from him. Leon, we're going to hear from him. But if Spencer can make it, he is hoping to come as well. We'll have some other former coaches, players, current players. We are going to have, as part of their NIL deal with Lithia Ford, we will have Cage Casey, Roger Carrion, Matt Lauder, and who's the one I'm missing? Latrell Caples, the NIL guys with Lithia. They will be out there hanging out, signing autographs, mingling with people, and maybe we'll get them up on stage for a few minutes as well. And then a lot of the basketball coaches, and we'll see who else is around. But if you just want to hang out, raise some money for a good cause, you don't have to be part of the golf tournament. You are able to just come to this and hang out and meet Mike Prater and meet Johnny Ball Game, and it should be a lot of fun. Jay's going to be there as well. I know Coach Bedell, Coach Riddle, the whole BNN kind of team, and we'll just be hanging out and having a good excuse, if nothing else, to have a couple cold ones on a nice, late May evening. And it's $35, and that is includes your Horseshoe Golden Ale beer, and I believe the Orange Chaos Seltzer is included as well. So if you want some, I think the rest of it's going to be a cash bar if you don't want that. But if you want some free beer, free seltzers, I guess not free, it's $35, but we're raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission, and it's going to be a fun night. So email me if you want in. Again, you don't have to come to the golf tournament. You don't have to like golf. You just got to be someone that wants to help raise money for charity and come hang out and have a good cause. $35. Email me, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. We'd love to have you. Surf City Bill, I did get your email this morning, actually. I will get back to you. He is wanting to come, so we'll I apologize for that. It was a crazy weekend. We had baseball tournament out in Nampa all weekend, so didn't get a chance to deal with much of the emails, but we'll get back to that. But email me, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. We'd love to have you, and that is 3 weeks from this Thursday coming up pretty quickly here. And then believe, Prater, you guys will be doing your show out there, hopefully for the golf tournament on that Friday. I know Dirk Cutter's playing in the golf tournament, so maybe you guys will be getting him on the show that Friday. I don't know, but looking forward to it. 4th annual BNN golf tournament, and then 3 previous years we've raised combined more than $25,000 for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission in 3 years, and hopefully going to do it again this year, and that's out at Timberstone Golf Course on May 30th. So happy hour on the 29th. Let me know if you want in. Golf tournament's pretty much sold out on the 30th, but excited for that as well. Okay, Mike says, by the way, Prater, Boise State does have a hockey team, decent and get a good crowd, and they play downtown. Club hockey team.
That's true. That is true. And, they do have a club hockey team. I've always tried to get down there. I've still yet to go to one of their games. I tried to get to the Vandal. Boise State, it's one of the rare series where they still play the Idaho Vandals, if I remember right. So that's kind of a cool deal. So, yeah, my mistaken. It is a club hockey team, and that's a club hockey team down there that's getting some traction, and they're doing a nice job. That's not easy to put together. So kudos to those guys. I'm not sure if they're ready to compete for the Stanley Cup or what their ultimate prize is, but the fact that they're out there grinding is pretty cool. Good reminder. Thank you.
All right, as we said, you can ask Mike Prater anything today. And our first question, Bronco 130 leads it off. Mike, your favorite Muni course in the Valley?
My favorite Muni course. Well, there's not very many Muni courses in the Valley. I guess I play Ridgecrest. That's a Nampa Muni. I love Quail Hollow. That's another good one. So Quail Hollow and Ridgecrest Golf Course I have a rotation of about 5 or 6 golf courses, and those are certainly 2 of my favorites. And played Ridgecrest just last week before I went on vacation. Ridgecrest, part of Nampa, Quail Hollow, part of the Boise City Municipal Park System. So that's pretty cool. And they've both done a nice job. So Ridgecrest and Quail Hollow, you can't affordable and really, really cool, run by some really cool people. And go there, guys. Go there.
Now, I don't know if we've actually played 18 holes together before, Mike Prater. I don't think we have, but I'm one of those guys, if you watch me play, you don't think I'd be that bad. And then when you add up my score, it's a 102. And it's like, what happened? I mean, I have the prettiest, 100 average or whatever that you'd ever seen, just because I usually give away the shots around the green. I can't putt. I'll have the 3 chips from 12 feet to get it closer. But, off the tee, second shot, like I'm not terrible. So I think there is areas for improvement in my game, Mike. But I just played last Friday, my first round of the year. I went 1 time to the range on Wednesday, went straight out first round of the year on Friday, and made about an 8-footer on 18 at Timberstone to break 199 for the first round of the year. So I was
nice.
I bought some new clubs. I'm feeling a little better about my game. And for the first round, I know people laugh, but for the first round of the year, I had 53 on the front, did not go well. 46 on the back. So I improved 7 strokes. I think I had 3 pars on the back 9 at Timberstone. So I felt a little, my goal is to break 90 by the end of the year. I don't know if I can do that. That's my goal though, is to try to keep improving and at least get into the low 90s more consistently. I was pretty proud of myself. 99 for round 1. I don't have much athletically going for me, but I'll take that.
That is good. That is good. And I'm a little bit in front of you there. I've played 5 or 6 times so far this year. Have not got a chance to get out to Timberstone, which, by the way, has a brand new, beautiful parking lot. I mean, they made that thing really, really cool. You've all seen the facilities out there, and they're top notch. And then they had this little dirt parking lot, which always was kind of a bummer, but that thing looks gorgeous. I've never seen concrete look so gorgeous. So it's all striped and ready to go and really convenient and clean and beautiful and nice. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there for the BNN tournament. Love to get out there to Timberstone. I've always said if Timberstone was a little bit closer to the valley, it'd be the most popular golf course, the best golf course in the valley. It's so stinking cool and so good out there. And Tad and his crew and Kelly and his crew do such a fantastic job out there with Timberstone. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's worth every stinking second of it when you get out there. So Timberstone Golf, I haven't been out there yet, but we'll be out there. I think we got a tee time this weekend, me and the golf boys, and I think it might be Timberstone, so might be making a debut out there. And my goal is usually to try to break 90, and I'm pretty good at it so far this year. I got some new clubs myself, so trying to get better, trying to get that. My handicap has dropped from 21 to 17 in the last year and a half. So wow. I'm actually taking some lessons and doing some stuff and trying to get better and trying to take it seriously. I'm tired of spending thousands and thousands of dollars every summer to suck. And I'm always going to suck, but I'm just trying to suck just a little bit less.
Bronco 130 says, what is your favorite hole at Timberstone?
My favorite hole at Timberstone. Putting me on. I like the par 3 over the pond. There's a par 3 over the pond where that little that weather vane is. That's a pretty cool hole. That's a really nice hole.
Yeah, I was going to say that's number 8.
Okay, I like number 8 out there, up against the houses, up against that weather vane, the pond, and it's a nice short course, but it's a nice short hole, but it's really, really challenging and tough. I love that hole.
Yeah, number 7 is my least favorite, and then you go to 8, which is my favorite right after that. So, and number 8 will be the closest to the pin competition from Boise Dentistry Co. At the tournament coming up this week. And quick shout out, by the way, to all of our sponsors for the golf tournament. We appreciate Simon Avalos and Coke. They're going to be providing some goodies for the players as well. Atkinson's Mirror and Glass, Boise Dentistry, Capital Paving, United Commercial Insurance, Lithia Ford is doing the hole-in-one for the free car again if you get a hole-in-one. Circa, my man Tyler is coming up again and playing in this tournament, and Circa is actually sponsoring the happy hour event the night before, so the beverages are being provided by our friends at Circa. We appreciate them. Looking forward to having them up here, and then Element Fencing as well. So, and of course, our 2 co-title sponsors of the golf tournament are our friends at Idaho Central Credit Union and rowpaint.com. They'll be right there at hole 1 and hole 10 when you pull in as usual. So we appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com, our title sponsors of this event. Someone's asking if you get up to play Jug Mountain Ranch.
I have played Jug Mountain. I love Jug Mountain. I've played there several times, and it's tough, man. It beats me up hard. I'm not breaking 90 there, but I'm having a blast. I love forest golf, and kind of grew up playing golf in Sun Valley with my family, and the mountains and the trees, and Jug Mountain is affordable. It's close. It's a really easy drive to get up there. It's a gorgeous drive, and it's worth it. You can stick around and have some food. You can jump on a mountain bike and do all kinds of trails from around there too. But I love Jug Mountain. It's a beautiful Idaho course.
All right, we've successfully killed half the show with talking nothing so far, Mike Prater. We do have an actual Boise State related question that has come in the chat, so we will try to get a little on topic here for the last 20 minutes or so. But I do want to thank a couple sponsors while we have the chance. Our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company. Appreciate them for their support of BNN from day one. Rowpaint.com. And again, all your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, hit them up, rowpaint.com. You will not be disappointed in our title sponsor. Hey, Taco Bell, great food. They got the cheesy roll-ups. They got the Cantina bowls, the Lux Cravings boxes. Great, delicious, cheap food at Taco Bell. And they are hiring as well. So you're looking for a job, Treasure Valley Taco Bell location, TacoBellWorks.com. Get more information from the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. Taco Bell. Visit a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. I mentioned Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We appreciate them. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out online, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game. You're looking for a pool table, they got you. You're looking for a spa, they got you. What about a sauna? They got that too. TheSpaTeam.com, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. You can check them out, Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game. Blue and Orange Store. This is a Blue and Orange Store Monday. All your Boise State gear, whether it's a sideline apparel, the hat selection is the biggest in town. That clearance rack is the best value around when you talk about the daily deals and things on the clearance rack at the front of the store. Boise Town Square Mall, second floor next to Pro Image, or just go online, order anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com. And visit our friends at Jackson's. $5 meal deal is back. 2 hot dogs and a kettle chips for $5. And you also get the 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night. That's right. Anytime, day or night, you can get that coffee from our friends at Jackson's when you use your Let's Go Rewards app. All right, we're having fun. As I say, we're kind of all over the place today. Not just being frank, a lot going on, Boise State related in terms of this week. And we're, as I said, going to start some summer countdowns, players to watch, storylines to watch, things like that here in the next, week or two. Mike says, Mike Prater, as far as our summer series here, Mike says, any insight into JD's recent what's next post from the back of a plane? He was, I jokingly say this, but it's nice of JD to get out of his first class seat, walk to the back and take the photo. So it looks like he's sitting in coach. But there was a photo, looked like a, commercial airliner. He was just going somewhere and said, what's next? So probably some meetings of some sort, whether it's Pac-12 or something. And then they're asking about the timeline on the Pac-12 cutoff date for expansion. What's the dollar amount needed per team in the media package for this to be a good move for Boise State? This is, Mike, I guess one of the probably at the top of the list if you're ranking, summer storylines related to Boise State right now is the Pac-12 expansion. Who's that 8th team going to be? What's the media rights package going to look like? I mean, there's been not much news for a long time, but now that 2025 deal is done, it seems like they're going to turn their attention to 2026. And once you get inside of a year, some of these contracts and buyouts and things are a little different for teams you're trying to get. So this probably needs to happen, whether it's July 1st, August 1st, whatever the date would be that they would start next year. We are getting to a point where in the next couple of months, we're probably going to see some movement here, aren't we?
I think so. I mean, certainly with the TV part of it, the adding another member, I'm not too much worried about that. They got about 12, 13, 14 months to do that. They're not going to wait till the very end, and we'll see how that plays out in terms of, what it's going to be. I don't know if it's still, for me, it comes down to like tiers. And for me, the top 2 tiers or the top tier would be UNLV or Memphis if they could pull those guys off. I think maybe the second tier would be like a Tulane and a Texas State. And then after that, it kind of gets a little weird in terms of, what you want and who you're going to chase. So, they might end up with just something that might be completely, I don't want to say irrelevant or certainly not a headline. But what if they just end up going out and grabbing Texas State just because that's really the only thing that's out there? I think that's a possibility as well. Don't hold your breath when it comes to that 8th member. I don't think it's going to be a difference maker. That's why they're waiting for that to be last, because it's not going to add any value whatsoever to the TV market, to the TV package, to the TV rights contract that's heavily out there right now and supposed to be a big part of this equation, and it will be a big part of this equation. And we could hear this news anywhere from today to probably about another, I don't know, by the middle of the summer. I don't think that there's a massive deadline waiting for that. I know we're all kind of anxious, and John Canzano out of Oregon kind of leaked some stuff a couple of weeks ago in terms of the 2025 football schedule, and Oregon State and Washington State, their home games. They're going to get some ESPN games now, and that's pretty cool. And is ESPN going to be back in the fold? I think that's kind of important for Boise State fans. We did some stuff on Idaho Sports Talk, and I think you guys have talked about it here on Bronco Nation News as well, just in terms of getting ESPN back into the Boise State football family. So I think we're very, very intrigued by that. Otherwise, it's kind of just business as usual, playing the waiting game and waiting for the press release, waiting for the information. And I don't think there's going to be a little bang. I mean, the TV package is, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm thinking somewhere in the $10 million package. It might get up to 12. I'd be surprised if it got past 14. That's a big number for me in terms of the media rights. But we also have to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. And when we get Jeremiah Dickey on our show tomorrow, he's doing the monthly thing with you guys or with BNN and then with us at Idaho Sports Talk. Dickey's going to come on tomorrow on Idaho Sports Talk, and I'm going to ask him for the numbers that are the apples to apples. When new things are announced, the new television package is announced, what does that compare to in terms of the numbers now? You could say media rights are $2 million, $4 million, $7 million, $9 million at Boise State. You just have to make sure you get the right accurate number and you're comparing it. But Boise State's going to get paid, and we can't wait for the details.
Yeah, they'll get more money, but I don't think it's going to be some double what they're making now or some massive jump. Maybe it'll be a nice jump, but it's not like the old Pac-12 or whatever. They would have gone from $6 million to $30 million or whatever. I mean, it's not going to be. They're going to get some more cash, but I don't know if it's going to be like an eye-popping number of more cash, when it's all said and done. But I did like the ESPN thing. I kind of chuckled. I talked to Johnny. I talked on the Thursday show with Johnny about this, but I loved your poll you put on Twitter. Should Boise State get back in business with ESPN? I mean, I want to know the 12% or whatever people that said no. Like, well, I mean, I assume it's just because they don't want the late start times and they assume that would come back. But I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want ESPN in the mix here.
Oh, 100% agree. I mean, if you can get ESPN in your mix, that's great. I think Boise State can be just fine without ESPN. They just proved that, and they are proving that. And they went through a really successful run without ESPN. But if you can get a game or two here and there, and I don't think we really care anymore if the tee time or the tee times. Listen to me talking about golf. If the kick times are 7:45, 8:45, somewhere in that, if there's a couple of those, that's perfectly fine. I think we're going to see a heavy dose of the CW, which has 100% distribution. One of the only platforms out there that has 100%. Anybody, even if you have rabbit ears, you could go out, tinfoil and a fingernail. You could get the CW and try to figure that out and watch some games. And I think a lot of those might be afternoon games, early, 1 o'clock to the 5 o'clock window. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe up to the 7 o'clock window. And we'll certainly take a lot of that. So I think it's going to be a mixture of a lot of different things. And if ESPN's back in the family, heck yeah, why not? Why not put ESPN back in the family? For some people, ESPN, unfortunately, kind of weirdly, has become very political. And if you don't like ESPN, maybe it's for political reasons and some of the things that ESPN does. But ESPN, Boise State football, if they get back together again, heck yeah, sign me up for that.
We should at some point in the next week or two, maybe get kind of the Friday night television package, Mike Prater, for this year for the Mountain West. So, usually it's around the golf tournament, around that Labor Day, last week of May, first week of June, where you get kind of some of the full season, CBS Sports, Fox Sports 1 designations and some of the game times for those games. But usually sometimes they'll come out a week or two earlier and kind of leak some of the bigger games or the Friday package as well. So we might find out about some games moving to Friday. But at the latest, we should get any final date changes and some of the kick times in the next, 3 or 4 weeks. So that will be coming as well. But yeah, I mean, I think ESPN would be great to get back in the fold. I mean, you just watch with how involved they are with the playoff and all the college game day and all the storylines and Boise State. We talked about it, I think, last week. Boise State's just been an afterthought for the most part when they're not on ESPN because they just don't spend the time. I mean, Ashton Genty changed that a little bit this year, but I still don't think they're smart. I mean, they talk about the teams and the leagues and the games on their networks. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I don't think Boise State got nearly as much talk as they could have gotten if last season they were having half their games be on ESPN.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I hope they can figure out a way to make that happen. So I love the whole Pac-12 After Dark and the late night TV presentation stuff. And I think that's kind of good. I think Pac-12 After Dark is one of the great marketing slogans of the last 10, 20, 30 years, however old that thing is. And I think it's kind of fun and I think it's kind of cool. And it's for selfish reasons. When I get home from work or when you get home from a late day football game, BJ, it's really cool to be able to go home and fire up the second half of whatever stupid Pac-12 game's on. It doesn't matter who they are or what they are. And obviously it becomes more important now with Boise State moving into that conference in 2026. But Pac-12 After Dark, sign me up for a heavy, heavy dose of that. I love that stuff.
I can't tell you how many Boise State games when I was either in college at the bars at midnight watching them or on a Friday night or whatever, I remember like when I was doing my internship and covering the Cardinals, you'd cover in September, you'd cover a Friday night Cardinals game and get home at midnight and you'd turn it on and it'd be, late in the second quarter or whatever. It was like, I mean, I watched so many, I know that wasn't Pac-12, but just in general, late night college football and Boise State being a part of that. That was something that made me watch, more and know a little more about Boise State before I moved out here was that. One of the other storylines, Mike, that I know we're tracking is the transfer portal and the football team and they've been adding guys. I mean, they've been adding guys left and right. What was your quick take on James Ferguson Reynolds going to Oregon? I don't know if you saw that or not over the weekend. You said you didn't have your phone for 4 days, but JFR, an Oregon Duck.
Yeah, I saw that this morning, actually. That's one of the first things I saw as I kind of plowed my way through Boise State's Twitter timeline and to see what was going on out there. And, I like Oregon. I always have. My brother went to Oregon. I grew up wanting to go to the University of Oregon. I've always been a big Oregon fan and I really respect what they do with that program. But I understand the angst around here. For me, it was a little bit of a gut punch, and I'm not even a fan, as they say now. That was kind of a weird deal. So, do they pay punters these days? And was it enough to make that kind of a choice? Was this an ego move? Was this a personal comfort move? Did James Ferguson Reynolds not like the coaching staff? I mean, both the specialists last year, the scheme stuff, the return stuff, the yardage production stuff probably went up. Well, definitely went up a little bit under Stacey Collins, but the individual stuff in terms of James Ferguson Reynolds and Jonah Dulmus, the individual performances took a big goal step back last year. So you have to wonder if there was some kind of dynamics there with the coaching, or if that was a coincidence, or if he's really chasing money. If Oregon's got that kind of money. And I did a soapbox on Idaho Sports Talk a couple of weeks ago, and Kurt Signetti, the Indiana coach, accused about 6 different programs out there of having $40 million budgets. We all heard Ohio State and Ryan Day in the last year and a half soliciting help because he has to build a $20 million roster. Well, Signetti said the Ohio States of the world and about 5 other teams are spending $40 million every year on football now. And he said Oregon was one of them. Is Oregon really spending $40 million on NIL money per year building that roster? And do they have enough money to give a punter enough reason to make a big change like that? That part really confused me and concerned me a little bit. But if James Ferguson Reynolds is getting a couple $100,000 to punt at Oregon, of course he's going to sign himself up for that. Will he get him closer to the NFL? I don't know. We'll see how that plays out, whatever his goal and dreams are. But, hey, see you later, buddy, and next man up, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I know the number's getting better this year, Mike, but I mean, there was a lot of talk last year that when Boise State played Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback at Oregon, was making more in NIL than Boise State's entire team.
Well, yeah, and Spencer, the only real anecdotal information that we could find from Spencer, because Leon and Spencer don't go there. That time I spent three days with Leon, the one little thing I got out of him in terms of NIL, he said they're spending over $1 million. He wouldn't go anything beyond that. He wouldn't tell me if it was $2, $3, $4, $5 million or $1 million and a penny. But Boise State basketball, they have a floor of at least $1 million. And Spencer Danielson told us in a press conference last year that his roster was right around $2 million and growing. He eventually wanted to get to 5, but he also said when we get to 5, it's not like we're going to stop growing. I want to keep growing. So I would guess that Boise State football's NIL budget for 2025 is somewhere in the $2 to $3 million range. And that's going to be a lot of money for the Boise States of the world, but I'm not sure how much money is left over for the punter at that point.
Yeah. One quick, since you mentioned Leon Rice, basketball, they did earlier this week sign a player from Link Academy, Bon Baum, and I was doing a little research on him. There is a story online by Nathan Carroll. He watched some film of him. You can go on there and watch that, but he's kind of probably going to redshirt Mike, 6'8" kind of wing. It is very intriguing, but just, needs to get bigger and stronger. And the one name I will throw out there that I was told as a comparison for him, but this young man is coming in further along when this player came in is Derek Alston Jr. Was one of the comparisons, just a long athletic guy that can shoot, that can score at all 3 levels. Obviously, Derek Alston Jr. came in as a red shirt and added all that weight as a walk-on, added all that weight, and in a couple of years was a great player. Someone close to the program told me Derek Alston Jr. would be a good comparison, but they said he is starting off further along than when Derek Alston came in as a freshman. So if they can get him in a couple of years to be anywhere near where Derek Alston was for a late pickup in May when you have an extra scholarship for a high school kid, not bad. And that's kind of what we thought would happen. They had to fill these spots, kind of find a guy that fell through the cracks and intriguing guy you think you can work with, and you try it. And you saw it with some of the other players, Mike. You have the extra spot, you redshirt. If it doesn't work out, then oh well at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you got your rotation guys, and it seems like Leon's got his rotation guys all set, 8, 9, 10, whatever that number is. Then you get your developmental guys, and this guy quickly slips into that package. He definitely needs to go on the Mike Prater diet plan and gain a few pounds and and they'll take care of that there. They got a pretty good system set up for
He
that.
already
And we'll
added
see how it plays out.
17. You look at him now, and they said during his last year at Link Academy here, he already added 17. He could go 17 more at least.
Oh, at least, he could do 17 times 3. I saw ribs in one of those pictures, and I don't like to see my athletes showing their ribs. So get that boy fattened up. Some of the highlights out there, some of the tape of him is pretty good. It's promising. He's obviously a good athlete and can do some pretty fantastic things. But in terms of the physicality, in terms of the wear and tear, in terms of the defense, right now he checks about 2 out of the 10 boxes when it comes to the intangibles. And he's got 2 years to kind of check a few more of those. But yeah, every program needs definitely those kinds of developmental guys. And this is the year, don't forget, everybody, that Boise State, based on roster limits, based on roster caps, which isn't official yet because that House settlement court case is still out there lingering, but Boise State basketball now gets 15 scholarships, not 13. In the past, they've always got 13 scholarships, and now you get 15. If the House settlement finalizes those rules here over these next couple of weeks, that will be the roster cap at 15, and everybody gets paid a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, he's got a couple more scholarships to give. And you would think that there'd be some developmental guys in there. And this new guy seems like he's absolutely a good start to that developmental rotation for Boise State basketball.
And I know one of the worst kept secrets out there is that the Angolian point guard, NATO, they've been trying to lock him down and get that done, Mike Prater. It seems like that's kind of the last piece of this year's team that they're waiting on, we're waiting on to hear about. But my understanding is they're still hopeful of that. There's just when you get agents involved and paperwork and everything else, it's just not quite as easy as it once was to get a kid to sign on the dotted line. But my understanding is they're still hopeful they can land NATO, who I think they would expect to play some minutes right away as a backup point guard.
Yeah, no, that would be a good one too. He's kind of that tweener, as you said, as part of developmental kid. He'd be a young freshman as opposed to a guy that can play in the rotation right now. They got the Andrews kid out of UCLA, so they're set at the point guard spot, but they need one more and certainly get him some playing time. A kid like that I believe he's with the NBA Academy, or at least he was at one point, if I remember right.
Yep.
So he's got some upside. He's got some potential. He's already in the pipeline of people looking at him and where he might go. So that's where Burns ended up. When you take a road trip to Africa to recruit, you're not doing that just to waste time. So that's a serious investment. And I hope they can get that sucker done and get him on this basketball team. But I would imagine it is fairly complicated in terms of the NIL stuff. Not so much the cash, but taking care of my dude as he comes over to Boise, Idaho with his background and figuring out those kinds of logistics. So that'd be kind of fun if they can get one more of those guys.
All right, back to football here in a second. Mike, you have an interesting take on Boise State's wide receiver room that I want to touch on here that I don't think may be what people would expect you to say on this, and we'll do that to wrap up the show in just a second. But do want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise, LithiaFordBoise.com. We mentioned the NIL game and keeping players at Boise State, and they're doing that with Cage Casey, Roger Carrion, Matt Lauder, and Latrell Caples, providing vehicles for them, as well as some women's student athletes as well. They're stepping up. They're providing vehicles. They're doing what they can, coaches, administrators. So return the favor. One of the biggest supporters of Boise State Athletics, Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford of Boise. Make that your next spot for your next car or truck purchase. Lithia Ford of Boise. You can view online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. BauscherRealEstate.com is the website. And when you buy or sell a home with Matt, everybody in the picture there, you get to meet him. And it's just a great experience buying or selling a home with Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. So check them out online, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com is their website. Download that Skip app, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. ShopRidleys.com, 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Find one near you. ShopRidleys.com. Transportation Compliance Service. If you're looking for a job, TCS can help you out get into the trucking industry every step of the way, all the paperwork and everything you need. Local company helping out folks all over the world online, transcompservice.com. Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. 10,000 plus combinations, healthy eating options. You want to eat healthy? Lean Feast Meridian is where you need to go. Leanfeastmeridian.com. We appreciate them. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing and Voice inbox line. We'll play it on an upcoming show. Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, repair, an estimate, inspection, they got you covered at Signature Roofing. All right, Mike, we had a question here about the linebacker edge from Arizona. Sterling Lane committed to Boise State over the weekend, a transfer from Arizona. Had 26 tackles at Arizona last year, so coming in with a little bit of production, 6'3", 240. Looks like he's going to be an edge outside, guy that can rush the passer. So I like Sterling Lane. But another guy they continue to add that's not a wide receiver. They were telling us all along we got to go find a wide receiver, and they've added 6 or 7 players since Spencer Danielson said that, and none of them have been wide receivers. But Mike Prater says you're fine with that.
I am fine with that. And, I'm not anywhere near as close to as smart as the coaching staff down there at Boise State. And they have said that a few times that they want to go out and look for a wide receiver. I'm okay with adding one to the team, but I think that this conversation has taken on a life of its own, and it kind of drives me crazy. I've even seen media guys here in town, smart daily media guys, saying Boise State's looking for a wide receiver 1. Seriously? You think Boise State's going to get a wide receiver 1? I've seen that from the fan base and from the social media people as well, that Boise State needs to go get a wide receiver 1. Who the hell are you going to get as a wide receiver 1 in May, June, and July? Are you kidding me? First of all, if that guy even exists, getting him into the rotation, getting him into the team, getting him into the playbook, getting him acclimated to what Boise State football does and playing some catch with the quarterbacks and stuff, that's a crazy thought. If you want to add a wide receiver, that's fine. But I also think that might even be a waste of a space. They've got 6 good wide receivers. The depth is fine. Yes, is this roster right now missing a wide receiver 1? Yes, it is. But you think you're going to find him in the transfer portal? You're crazy. There is no such thing as a wide receiver 1 in the transfer portal in the middle of May. And I don't care who you are or what you are or how much money you have. That's a ridiculous thought. So, the 3 that they have in terms of Bolt, Marshall, and Caples, that's a pretty good first-tiered rotation. Then you got a second-tier rotation with Bates, Penry, and whoever else, or Ben Ford. That's not terrible for a second-tier rotation. But, yeah, the fact that you're going to go out and wish list this wide receiver 1, it ain't happening, guys. Boise State's not going to get a wide receiver 1 this time of year. You're almost going to have to do it by committee, which every coach, Matt Miller, is going to stand in front of you and tell you, oh, I like it by committee. I like having to be able to spread it out. I like that there's no emphasis on a wide receiver 1. That's coach speak right there. So I'm going to live with that one. I think that they can do it by committee. I don't think they're going to waste any time going out and getting a wide receiver 1, because I don't think you can find a wide receiver 1. And this whole angst about chasing a wide receiver 1's kind of gotten me crazy a little bit, including smart people in the media. Not you, BJ, but other guys out there saying that Boise State needs a wide receiver 1. Where? How? Why? How's that going to work?
Yeah, I agree. And Crash says a true wide receiver 1 right now would cost as much in NIL as half the team is getting right now.
Yeah. And then that's a crapshoot if you're picking them up in May. So, yeah, if you find a guy that fits your style, fits your system, fits your family, fits what Spencer Danielson's looking for, throw him into the rotation. But Boise State's not getting a wide receiver 1 in this whole conversation about they're waiting on pins and needles for a wide receiver to come in and make a difference. That's just not going to happen, guys. That's a ridiculous conversation. And frankly, I think it's a waste of time. I'll debate it anytime you want right here on Sports Talk Radio. I think it's a good debate, and I've been kind of waiting to pounce on this one because I just think that conversation is crazy. So go find one, but it ain't going to be a wide receiver 1. And please don't spend all kinds of money just to take that kind of a chance. I don't think you need it. I think you got 6 decent wide receivers who can get the job done.
And as evident of that, one of the guys they brought in was a Division II player.
There you go.
So I don't think I know they offered a Purdue wide receiver recently, but I don't think he had much stats, if any, at Purdue. Would they use one if one fell into their lap? Sure. But I think I agree with you. I think I still am very high, personally, I think Austin Bolt still has a lot to show and can be if he can put it all together and stay healthy, I still think there's, in my mind, a higher ceiling for Austin Bolt than what we've seen. If Latrell Caples can stay healthy, and they like some of the young guys they have. And I know you guys did your series and had Chris Marshall rated pretty high. I don't know what to expect from Chris Marshall, but if he were a guy that could stay healthy and put it together, I certainly think he could be a guy that could do a little more than he's doing right now. And I'm a big Cam Bates fan too. I think Cam Bates is ready to emerge this year as a legit star on this team. I think he's got a chance to be really, really good. And don't forget, Mike, I know you know this, but for fans, like, they signed 4 or 5 wide receivers in this class, and there's at least one that's they expect right away to come in and have a chance to produce. So and you mentioned Penry and some of these guys. So could you maybe use one? Sure. You do lose Prince Strong, you lose Cam Camper. But I would agree with you, I guess, that it's not like this offense is going to suck if you don't get one.
Yeah, no, this offense is not definitely dependent on another wide receiver coming in and making a difference. And that narrative to me really, really bugs me. And I think it's a false narrative that doesn't need to exist. So we'll see how it plays out. This football team, based on what everybody's saying, is still going to be a mostly run first team. We're not going to see the balance of numbers that we saw last year. I think even Spencer Danielson talked about being more 50-50. I would guess that's going to be like more 60-40 in terms of running. And Boise State does have 3 or 4 RB1s, and they can replace Ashton Jeanty with the group of guys that they have, as long as Sire Gaines can come through and be healthy. I don't know if he's going to be a wide receiver, or a running back one, because I think Malik Sherrod's pretty damn good. I think Dalen Riley is pretty damn good. I think Breezy's pretty damn good. And the running back is probably going to be by committee. Based on everything that Sire Gaines has gone through, everybody wants Sire Gaines to get healthy so he can go out there and be RB1. Considering that he's played 3 football games in 2 years, 3 years now, or whatever that number is, and considering his track record of being unhealthy and the nonsense that it's taken to get him back to being healthy, do you think you want to throw him out there and carry him, let him carry the ball 200-300 times? No. Even if Sire Gaines is healthy and really, really healthy and really, really good and really, really productive, you can't workhorse him to death, because that's ridiculous. I don't think his body can take that. It certainly hasn't shown that. And you got 3 other running backs that I think can be just as good, and in some cases might even be better. So the running back room is great for me. And we're not going to get a superstar. I hope we get 4 dudes rushing for 800 yards. That'd be kind of fun. And let's see how it all plays out. And the wide receiver, I'm okay with the same. You get 5 dudes catching 50 balls and doing the same kind of things. I'm okay with that as well.
As the stable says here, Mike Prater, in terms of wide receivers, you just need some that can block.
That certainly would help. I think they got better at that in the second half of last season. It was definitely an issue in the first half of that season, the outside edge stuff. And that goes back to what Dirk Cutter was saying. We kind of suck at the screen game and getting outside and into space and getting that block and creating more space. Matt Lauder is supposed to be pretty good at that, but he's just the one dude. I'm not sure if Wagner's developed any kind of reputation in terms of the tight ends. I think the wide receiver blocking room is pretty. There's definitely room for improvement. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, no doubt about it. So we did it, Mike. We made it 46, almost 47 minutes here, talking about pretty much nothing, which I guess is a normal day for us. Yeah, we're good at that.
You got to do it for 3 hours later today. So just one of those weird weeks, but we'll get through it. And anybody has suggestions on topics they want to have us talk about on BNN this week, or KTIK probably for that matter, just you said tomorrow you'll have Jeremiah Dickey. That'll be great stuff. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow, Jeremiah Dickey on Idaho Sports Talk. And but I know you guys have a great show planned for today and all this week.
Yeah. I couldn't give you a lot about what we're doing today. I know we're diving back in. I think we're starting one of our series today, the 15 most important players on this roster post spring ball. We do that going into spring camp, and then we kind of revitalize that list coming out of spring camp. We're going to dive into that a little bit. Also, the NFL guys, the Boise State NFL guys, lots and lots of camps opening up this weekend. Lots of Boise State guys in the NFL, and this will be a talking point for you later on as the week comes on as well. So, the NFL guys, I cannot wait to see Ashton Jeanty running around in a Raiders uniform for the first time, and some of these other visuals. He's got the deuce. He's ready to rock and roll. I need to see him out there running around on the practice field. I've seen some videos of him kind of training with some high school kids in the rain in Texas and taking some selfies with some kids in Texas after some workouts. So sounds like Ashton Jeanty's grinding, and now I just need to see him doing on a Raiders football field somewhere in Henderson. I think their practice facility somewhere in Henderson, Nevada. So I cannot wait to see that video later on this week.
We talk about the Boise State schedule coming out 14 days, or no, it's 11 days now, not 9 days. I can't add 9 days. May 14th, that NFL schedule comes out, I believe. That we're all going to be checking some of those dates.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to that one. Jacksonville versus the Raiders. Travis Hunter versus Ashton Jeanty. The continuation of a rivalry. Whether you guys think it's a rivalry or not, I cannot wait to see that battle.
All right. Listen today, 3 to 6, Idaho Sports Talk with Johnny and Prater and Bob and the whole crew. And Jay Tust and I will be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Go read BroncoNationNews.com, our story on the newest member of the basketball program, Bon Bomb. You can read that right now at BroncoNationNews.com, where you can go subscribe as well. Anything else happens today, anything breaks, we'll have you covered. BroncoNationNews.com. They'll have you covered at 3 o'clock, Idaho Sports Talk. And then again, Jay Tust joins me at 9 a.m. tomorrow as we continue talking Boise State sports here. And we'll start our series, I believe next Monday, starting to get into some of the if you're doing players, maybe we'll start with questions or something. Maybe I'll go in reverse. But we are going to have plenty of football off-season topics coming on here in the near future. But Prater, appreciate you. Glad you're back. And glad to hear it went well on the vacation there, and looking forward to the show today. Appreciate it, guys. Go subscribe. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, a Blue and Orange Store Monday edition, brought to you by our friends at rowpaint.com here at bronconationnews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.